Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanachalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishnaprishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Shashunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this chapter is titled Description of the Kingdom of God. These words are spoken by the four Kumaras. So how the minds of those who are seekers of truth, it said persons who are very expert and most intelligent in understanding things as they are. That means those who are able to ascertain what is truth, they are able to have, they are tattva-darshinas, they are able to see the truth as it is everywhere. Seeing the truth as it is everywhere means with no drop of illusion in them, free from all illusion. Such personalities who are in pure knowledge, what is being said, such personalities take pleasure in hearing narrations of the auspicious activities and pastimes of the Lord. In other words, the activities and the pastimes of the Lord are absolute truth, unlike the activities of this material world. In this material world also there is a society, there are people, and people are all engaged in different activities, and glorification of people is very, very common tendency, common nature of the soul. That is why in this world you see everywhere there is glorification. The glorification rasa. If you are only one person, there cannot be glorification. Is it not? Glorification means it is in a society. Glorification means it is in a world, it's in a community. There is absolute glorification in the spiritual world. The Lord is a central personality, the most loving personality. Vaikuntha is a world, just like this world, it's a world of so many jivas, perfected jivas, full of nitya siddhas, and they are all engaged in different activities, just like we are engaged in activities. But those activities are all centered around the Lord, and therefore the Vaikuntha Loka is an absolute world. The society of devotees and the Lord is an absolute reality in the spiritual world. And therefore glorification of the Lord is a very central rasa of existence in the Vaikuntha Loka. And the living entities, the jivas, are glorifying the Lord. They are narrating His pastimes. And what is there to glorify about Krishna, Narayana's pastimes? What is there to glorify? Why is it glorious? It is glorious because the Lord is an infinite reservoir of love. So, His relationship with every living entity is of loving exchange. So when we hear the narrations of the Lord, then one can feel the love of the Lord. There are two types of glories of the Lord. One is His loving glories. As a person, the perfect loving person. And there is another glory of the Lord, which is His Aishwarya. Aishwarya and Madhurya. Sweet, loving relationship is, nobody can surpass Krishna, Narayana's loving capacity. Nobody can surpass Krishna, Narayana in Vaikuntha Loka, in Goloka, Vrindavan, everywhere. The Lord's Aishwarya, opulence, nobody can. Because He is the master of all energies. Everything is serving Him. Unlimited energies are serving Him to give pleasure to Him and His devotees. So therefore, these pastimes are all very, very relishable. Not only relishable, those who can't relish, hearing them will purify the heart. Srimad Bhagavatam is a narration of Lord's wonderful activities in His different incarnations in this material world, in different yugas, at different times. These narrations are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. So hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is actually nectarian. But we don't feel that nectar. Why? You cannot feel that nectar unless our heart is purified. This transcendental sound, these descriptions, these pastimes of the Lord, when we hear Srimad Bhagavatam, when we read Krishna book, all these things, why our heart is not craving to read more and more? What is the reason? The reason is because this is nectarian for the soul. But the soul is sleeping. So first the soul has to wake up. Then it is nectarian. Can we wait till then? No. The glorious narrations of the Lord's pastimes in Srimad Bhagavatam or in Bhagavad Gita, any of these transcendental literature, if we hear these narrations, it is a means for purification also. That is why Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Every day we serve Srimad Bhagavatam for self-purification. And the Bhagavatam says, the next few verses, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, after that it says that Rajoguna, Tamoguna, all will go away. It will kick out. This hearing will kick out all these things. And then we can relish the nectar, the happiness, the pleasure that the Atma gets, that the spirit soul gets by hearing the narrations. It is said it is not comparable to even Sayujya Mukti, Samipya Mukti, Shastri. There are 4 kinds of muktis. Now we are going into the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, it is said that the devotees, pure devotees, they just want to hear and chant the glories of the Lord. That chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord is more nectarian. The position of continuously chanting and hearing the names of the Lord is more nectarian than being in the palace of Narayana. You're getting samipya mukti. That means you can stay very close to the Lord. You can be an associate of the Lord. You can get the same opulence like the Lord. These are all different muktis. Vaikuntha Loka is unlimited. Just like this world itself is unlimited for us. Vaikuntha Loka is unlimited. Unlimited jivas are there and unlimited, leelas and rasas are going on. So the living entities are the Supreme Lord is Akhila Rasamrta Sindhu. He gives an opportunity for devotee to relate with him as they want. As you surrender, I reciprocate. Our parampara, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is specializing in one particular position in the spiritual world. Not to be born in Vaikuntha Loka, not to have a form same as the Lord, opulence as the Lord, be a close associate of the Lord, have same bodily features as the Lord. You can get an opulence where if you look at that person, you cannot differentiate. He is Narayana or he is living entity. You cannot differentiate. That is one opulence. All the features of Narayana you get. So that also they don't want. They are concerned only with glorifying the Supreme Lord in His auspicious activities, continuously glorifying the Supreme Lord and His activities. That is the rasa that the pure devotees are seeking, and this parampara is wanting to give this highest thing. The highest thing in the spiritual world to the lowest people in the material world. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. Only God can do that. In Kali Yuga, everybody is so fallen. In the worst yuga, Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Goradvashe Namaha. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is most munificent because he is Krishna himself. Only he can do this. So we try to wonder, how is it possible? We say we want to go back to Godhead, we want to go back to Godhead. And here Prabhupada says, hey, go back to Godhead, what? The devotee does not want to be born in the palace of Narayana. Devotee does not want the same bodily features as Narayana. He does not want to live side by side as an associate. He just wants to engage in chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord. Of all the glories of the Lord, okay, within the Vaikuntha planet, you want to glorify Lord Vishnu in the activities. That is the highest in each planet, each Vaikuntha Loka. Now, among these, there is even higher one. That is to glorify the transcendental loving activities of Radha and Krishna. And this is the pinpointed goal of our parampara. We are called Rupanugas. We are followers of Rupa Goswami or Rupa Manjari. We are followers of the gopis. And what is the glorification? In Goloka Vrindavana, what is the glorification? Chanting Hare Krishna, Sankirtana. Just chanting Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One is simply glorifying the wonderful pastimes, wonderful Leela, loving Leelas of the Lord in Goloka Vrindavana. That is why this mantra is given by God Himself, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just like in the material world, in the spiritual world also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtana is going on. Their Sankirtana is glorifying the Lord's transcendental Leelas. So coming back to, when that is a goal of our parampara. A goal of our parampara is to get our mind to constantly meditate on the glories of Radha and Krishna, the gopis, Goloka Vrindavana. That is our goal. We have got the right link. We are fortunate. Those who get Srila Prabhupada as their spiritual master are very fortunate. They can even cross Vaikuntha and go to Goloka Vrindavana. That position. Of course, this is all their wish and their kripa. And our good luck, our good fortune. That is why we see extraordinary things happening in the Krishna consciousness movement. How Prabhupada went to America and then he went to the worst place, hippies and all that, then he gave them the opportunity for love of God. Extraordinary things happen. This is not a normal Vedic, one of those standard path of elevations. There are many, many paths of elevation, jnana, karma, all those things. But this is something very extraordinary because Kalikale Krishna Nama Rupa Avatara. The Lord is in this age as Krishna Nama. And this Hare Krishna Mahamantra Golokera Premadhana Harinama Sankirtana, this comes from the spiritual world. But remember this, it is come from the spiritual world. So the mercy is in the form of the holy name. So if we have to, now the fundamental question is, how do I get taste for hearing Bhagavatam? How do I get taste? It said that taste is so much that one does not even want, for muktis he does not want. That means what would be the level of the taste for hearing? Just like if you're very, you have appetite and you're very hungry, then you'll taste the food, nicely. You want to taste nicely. Other thing is you push it into your mouth something. You have to eat. You have to eat. But here it is said, no, it is not like that. This you want to taste, you want nectar. The question comes, why we do not have that? As you said, it's due to the covering of the soul. And the solution for uncovering the soul is again the same medicine. The medicine is, if we want to relish the Srimad Bhagavatam, if you want to relish this Leela of the Lord in the Srimad Bhagavatam, first we have to do is to hear the holy names. Before hearing the katha, before you can taste the katha, you have to taste the nama. Before we taste the nama, even without taste, we have to hear the nama. If you hear the nama, it is an accelerated means of purification. So first you hear the nama, you practice hearing the nama. We do japa, we should hear the japa. You hear the japa, then taste for nama comes. When taste for nama comes, that means there is purification. At that time when you read Srimad Bhagavatam, you won't want to keep it down. You want to hear every day, you want to hear, you cannot, you are always hearing, remembering the pastimes of the Lord. Because why? It is very nectarian. That nectar energy is there in that. It is not the knowledge aspect. It's an energy. It's a spiritual ananda energy. Simply by hearing. Just like honey you open and you put in your mouth, it is tasty. Similarly, nectarian pastimes of the Lord is a thing. It's a thing like honey. But that thing is tasted through the ears. That honey is tasted through the ears. Ordinary honey you put in the mouth, there's a limit how much you can taste. Your tongue gets completely saturated. Afterwards it becomes tasteless. You put 1 rasgulla, 2 rasgulla, 3 rasgulla, 4, 5, then tongue becomes tasteless. There's one thing about the ear different from the tongue. What is that? You can go on and on and on and on and on, never ending. It can drink and drink and drink and drink the nectar. There's no limit. There's no limit. So there is a difference between tasting through the tongue and tasting through the ears. So the bottom line is, we have got a very clear process. These are not simply theories. This is not simply theory that it's nectarian and all. Then why are we in this parampara if we cannot taste that nectar? If you don't have faith that before I die I should taste this nectar, whatever is being told, all these things I should experience. Otherwise, why I am a disciple of Prabhupada? If I am a disciple of Prabhupada, I should satisfy him, I should advance, and I should be able to receive what he wants to give. What does he wants to give to all of us? What does Prabhupada want to give all of us? He wants to give us nectar for the taste, the never-ending taste of bhakti, never-ending taste of that for our soul. He wants to give us. Oh, it's very difficult task. How we don't see anybody, very few people. What is, still my mind is, attached to so much sense gratification. My mind is so much attached to society, material world, family, all these things. These are all very high stuff. When I will, all these things, will I get at all? What is the answer? Answer to all this question is, please hear your japa every day nicely. You don't have to become very intelligent to understand the philosophy of Achintya Veda Veda Tattva. All those things you don't need to. These are all consequences of properly hearing your japa. If you have 100 devotees, if there was a machine to detect who is hearing the Hare Krishna mantra, who is not hearing the Hare Krishna mantra during japa, you can make a graph who is advancing, who is not advancing. Or who is advanced, who is advancing, who is not advanced. Don't take it lightly. Simply rolling beat 16 rounds and over, my japa is over. First project is how to give our conscious attention to Nama. Hearing means gross hearing and subtle hearing. It starts with gross hearing. A Shabda has got, the Shabda contains, if I say pen, pen is a Shabda. In your mind, pen comes in, isn't it? So there is a gross hearing, there is a subtle hearing. Pen, when I say, you hear the word sound pen, and you do the smarana of the idea of pen. Correct? Oh, pen, because I know what is pen. Therefore, when I say pen, the pen comes in my mind. Suppose you use the word ken, nothing is coming. In the material world, sound is like that. Sound does not contain the idea of the sound. It does not contain. Because we learn languages in childhood, therefore when we are saying boy, girl, smaranam comes. It's all trained. They're not connected. The idea of boy is not there in the word boy. Idea of girl is not there in the idea of girl. What is the secret which is revealed in the scriptures? You say Krishna. In that Shabda, Krishna is there. In that Shabda, you take somebody in the North Pole. You don't give him any Prabhupada's book. Tell him to chant Krishna, 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 Krishna. If he does that for a long time, Krishna, he will get the knowledge of what is Krishna. He will get the knowledge this is God. He will get the knowledge that he is Parameshwara. Slowly, slowly, from Paramatma realization, all aspects of Krishna will manifest. Because it is all contained in the Nama. So it's not an ordinary word. So that is why it is said that you have to very sharply, eagerly hear the words of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You should eagerly hear. When you hear, you don't have to support with some thinking and all these things, what you read and all. From that Nama, other aspects of Krishna, Nama, Rupa, Leela, everything will manifest from that Nama. So when you do japa, you should do with faith. Shraddha is very important. What is that Shraddha? That God has come down and God is before me and it is in sound form. The Lord is in the sound form. And the entire Lord is here. That faith should be there. With that faith, if you hear, when you eagerly hear, When you say eager means what? Suppose I say there is a room here. There are a lot of things inside. Desirable things. So very eagerly you go and open the door. What all I want is there. Similarly, what all the jiva wants is there in the Shabda. Satta, Chitta, Ananda, everything is there in that Shabda. So when with that faith you should hear. Then the Nama will reciprocate. Krishna consciousness will manifest just by hearing the Nama of the Lord. Transcendental knowledge, you are not the body, automatically will manifest with realization. With realization from the Nama hearing. So for that, we have to train ourselves to hear. Not that, you just hear once now and then. You have to train yourself so that you will hear the entire 16 rounds. And if somebody is serious, within 6 months, only 6 months required. Even faster, because for somebody who is completely new, within 6 months he can hear the Hare Krishna mantra. In 6 months. And why after so many years we are not hearing? Because you don't take it seriously, it's a process. Rightly we have to do it. It becomes mechanical and our mind roams everywhere. But if we are serious about practicing it, first we have to practice, we have to bring our mind, our yantra should become completely aligned. Our tongue, our mind, everything completely should be aligned to catch each Hare Krishna Mahamantra. After it becomes trained, the biggest problem is once the yantra learns how to do japa, then your attention has no work. When you tell a new person, either bite out, you please 108 times you chant Hare Krishna. Because it is a new activity, he has to give attention. Naito, he cannot do the task. Is it not? So he is chanting with attention. Make that person do it for 2 months. This 108 chanting has become automatic. Then what happens to his attention? Goes for something else. Initially this was a new activity, so his attention was there. So he touched Namavatara. After 1 month he stopped touching Namavatara. So you don't touch Namavatara, you will stay like that. No advancement. If you don't give attention to Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you stay like that. Japa means we are offering our attention, doing attention, chanting, hearing, doing attention. Japa means that we are offering our attention. If it becomes automatic, very good. Your mind has become freed. One part of the mind is trained mind. Trained mind will take care of the yantra japa. Yantra japa. That I call it as yantra japa. You can become an expert in yantra japa in 6 months. That's what I told. In 6 months you can be expert in yantra japa. So expert you will become in yantra japa that you can think of an entire project during that japa. You can think of all your family problems, everything you can think. So expert. 16 rounds over. Non-stop, uninterrupted. What is the solution? Whatever you do, it becomes like this. It becomes trained. The solution is, when something becomes an habit, our mind becomes freed. Our conscious mind becomes freed. When our conscious mind becomes freed, what should you do with that conscious mind is a question. Already yantra japa pakka ho gaya, chal raha hai. What should I do? What should the conscious mind do? Where is the soul? Soul is always where the conscious mind is. Soul is where the conscious mind is. That means, parallel to yantra japa, you should do japa. This yantra japa is a very good assistance. We should train ourselves. Yantra japa, first perfection of japa is yantra japa. But as it becomes trained, we should consciously also chant and hear the same thing. Just like I give different example. Suppose you are eating food. It's already trained. Every day breakfast you go, trained. Even if your mind is not here, you can eat. Isn't it? You can finish your breakfast. They'll ask you, what did you eat? After half an hour, you'll say, I don't remember. That is called yantra eating. Yantra eating. Just because you are doing yantra eating, can you not also consciously eat? Is yantra eating a support or a headache? It's a support. You can consciously taste every bit of the food that you put in your mouth. You can consciously perceive the color of the food, what the food is. You can consciously perceive who cooked it. You can consciously perceive that this is Krishna Balram's prasadam. All these things the conscious mind can do while simultaneously yantra eating is going on. Correct? The same way, yantra japa you cannot avoid. You repeat something, it will become yantra japa. Rightly. You do it rightly, it becomes good yantra japa. You do it wrongly, it becomes wrong yantra japa. Any habit you repeat, ठीक से करो, गलती करो, पार्टली ठीक से करो, पार्टली गलती करो, जो सिखाता है वही करता है. One devotee was telling me, I was chanting Hare Krishna, I am able to chant, I am able to hear, but I am not able to, I am moving 2-3 beats at a time. My only solution, I have tried very hard, my only solution is now I have to say, okay, I have calculated 7.5 minutes it takes, okay, एक माला हो गया करके. फिर भी ऐसा ऐसा घूमता ही रहता है. I said, then what is the use of turning like this? There is a purpose for it. You have trained your mind wrongly. It has become habit. Wrong things become wrong yantra japa. So therefore, yantra japa also we have to very carefully what is to be done, clearly pronounce. Somebody has yantra japa, Hare Krishna, Ram 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 Hare, Hare Krishna, Ram 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 Hare. Something goes away, vanished, few shabdas are vanished. That's become yantra japa. That yantra japa is a wrong yantra japa because you taught it like that. Afterwards somebody tells you, hey, you're missing. He's trying to correct that missing, very difficult. Suppose he has done 6 months wrong in 6 years. He has missed out Hare Hare, Ram, one Ram he has missed out for 10 years. It will take at least 5 years to come back. With great struggle to bring back that Ram, missing Ram. Because yantra is like that. Yantra is like whatever you teach it, you will learn. Yantra japa. So along with our yantra japa, Krishna wants not only your body, everything is Krishna's. In bhakti we surrender everything. So in yantra japa, at least those 2 hours you have surrendered your tongue and one small portion of your mind, which is it? Because that mind is required to handle this yantra japa. It's a trained mind. Just like you learn driving. You go on driving. You don't bother. You are thinking of something else. That is called yantra driving. And now and then when traffic is there, you have to change. That cannot be practiced. Depending on the traffic, you have to take some decision. That cannot be trained. So you are consciously putting. Nowadays self-driven cars, that also computer program they have done and all that things, they say that is better than human vehicles. The number of accidents are much, much lesser. So much they have. Of course, not in Indian roads you can never do. There is no system. Their systems are there, traffic is there, everything is there still. So anyway, yantra can learn anything. What's the point I was saying? Yes. So, Krishna, you are offering your tongue, you are practiced. Shravanam, Kirtanam, at each shabda should be, bead after bead you are moving. That means you are recognizing the mantra, your mind is recognizing the mantra. All that you are already taught. Krishna is very happy because you are offering your tongue, you are offering your mind, you are offering your training, everything. But this is very small thing. Krishna wants what? Krishna does not want your mind, Krishna wants you. And you are in your conscious mind. Your subconscious mind which is trained and doing, that's not very impressive to Krishna. So please understand, if you simply do yantra japa, great. Because it's after all Krishna's name. But we, knowing the philosophy, we should understand. I should consciously hear. I should consciously call out to the names of the Lord. A record player can chant a sound, isn't it? Yes, it can produce a sound. It can produce the sound Krishna. A record player can it can produce. But only a living person can call Krishna. There's a difference. A tape player can produce Krishna. Only a living person can call. Producing sound is different. Calling is different. Calling means soul is involved. Therefore Prabhupada says, chanting Hare Krishna is like a crying, calling the mother for the mercy of the Supreme Father. Personalized. So if you do, in yantra japa this is not there. In yantra japa what happens? The mind, the conscious mind goes and does something else. The conscious mind should follow the yantra japa. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Yantra japa is very useful because you can give your conscious mind uninterruptedly. It's a big support. Suppose you want to give your consciousness to Krishna. Your yantra is going on thinking of some other things. It's a disturbance, no? But at least now yantra is continuously it is going. Now the problem is now your conscious mind is free. You have to hold on to this. Follow every shabda that is yantra is generating. you follow with your conscious mind. So along with yantra japa, do conscious mind japa. Already tongue is chanting. Do conscious mind japa. Conscious chanting, conscious calling, conscious hearing. Later on, if that becomes practiced, a person can, without even producing the external sound, he can hear and chant. He can hear and chant even if without producing the external sound. Because his attention is going like this, exactly where the way if the sound was externally produced in the same way in the mind is going on. And only if that kind of chanting happens at the time of death, we can chant. Otherwise, at the time of death, this body and all will not, yantra japa will not, because yantra stops now. Yantra stops. So how yantra japa will produce Hare Krishna mantra? Your soul in association with your conscious mind should chant. So hearing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra uninterruptedly, it's something that you have to train your mind, take it very seriously. Tremendous change in your life will come. Tremendous change in detachment from material sense gratification will come. Tastelessness will come from material things. All bad habits will vanish away by hearing the Hare Krishna. So powerful it is hearing. You got the mantra from Prabhupada, so we should hear it. That's all. Everything will start manifesting. Consciousness will become clear. Any questions? No. Give the mic. Keep the phone, the microphone down.
So attention is there or not?
Attention is there or not? No. Yantra japa means your trained subconscious is doing it. Subconscious is doing it. Your chanting is doing it. Now, as I told you, your conscious mind is freed from that work. When the conscious mind is freed, the conscious, that there is a mind which is doing the yantra japa. That is a subconscious mind. You don't bother about it. Anything you train, you can take from the conscious mind one chunk and give that, and still 1 minus 1 is 1. Your mind is still full. Your conscious mind. A trained mind is deposited there. That will take care of like all those software. That will take care. But your conscious mind, it has to follow the doing of the chanting and hearing. So, the way to find out is, if you're chanting, if your conscious mind is gone somewhere else, doing something else, thinking of something else, that means your conscious mind is not on the japa. Your conscious mind should be superposing japa exactly as the mantra is doing japa. Yantra is saying Hare, you are also saying Hare. Your conscious mind is saying Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yantra is saying. But you are also saying. Another possibility is yantra is saying, you are not saying. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. You are where? Somewhere else. Yantra is chanting, you are somewhere else. You understand? So there is a parallel doing. There is a parallel chanting, there is a parallel hearing. Auto mode, chanting and hearing in auto mode, and in conscious mode. That is very important. It is so much so much pain, painful. And all this, it's a question of training. It's because of wrong training, because of not understanding properly what this is. It will not be painful. Guarantee. You can do uninterrupted conscious japa without any tapas. The tapas is only in getting the yantra japa done. After that, there is no tapas. Reason is, if you hear, the energy comes from the nama. Now your consciousness is still struggling to do the yantra japa. In that, there is no full attention on the shabda. So it is a tapas. That is why I said, yantra japa supports. Your Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Each shabda will fly. Now each shabda is like, if you put your finger in honey, how difficult it will move? Like that. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Like that. It's like moving a finger in the honey. It's very tough. But once yantra japa is done, and then you want to be consciously here also, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, you will be flying. Hare Krishna, Ramas will be flying. And you will be conscious. No tapas. It is a fact. What a medicine Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given. You are getting the highest with no tapas. I can prove this. I am writing something. You read that. That time you read how this is possible without tapas. A new person, within 6 months, he can chant without tapas. He will enjoy his chanting. His mind will enjoy chanting first. His soul may not awaken. His soul enjoying is another level. Transcendental enjoyment is another level. That will take time. But you will enjoy, your mind will enjoy. Because tapasya is about the mind, no? Bringing it back. So there won't be tapasya of the mind, you will hear. Chant and hear. Jai Grandaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.